Marjorie.
I am Nicole Nibril.
Manny Calderon Castillo.
My name is Eli Rowan Salar.
My name is April Della Paz Del Cruz.
I'm from Bambantarlac.
I'm from the Benguet province.
I'm from Davao, Philippines.
We decided to leave the Philippines and we said, let's apply every part of the world.
We came in 1967.
I arrived to Canada when I was 7. I arrived here in August 2007 under the family class, but for orphans.
So my wife, I've been here 9 years. She came here as a nanny.
He came here in January of 1968, and I couldn't be with him because I have 4 kids, you know.
I couldn't get a job in the Philippines.
I wanted to go home, but my daughter said no.
I also have to think about earning money and making sure that my brother and I are stable.
I left the Philippines because of martial law.
They're brave, actually. They're brave to go through all of that.
My mom too.
So I always dreamed to become a chef, but I got that opportunity in Canada.
Fast forward, 14 years. Living in Canada, I have no regrets.
We all have to pull together and help one another.
Filipino heritage is pretty much essential to who I am.
We came in 1967. My husband, we were both teaching in the Philippines then, but my husband was able to get hold of an application. You know that it is the pay. We were only receiving 140 pesos a month. And then in the letter that my husband got hold of, it said 500 a month, I think, dollars. And he said, this is sweepstakes, let's go. So, and you know what? They reimburse our plane tickets. People here came asking me, why did you come here? Why did you come here? You know what? You needed us. That's what I said. You didn't have teachers, you didn't have nurses here. Life was very easy then, One September morning, it was snow, and the snow was up to the knee by the door. And then I tried to pick yellow, ginagad na yellow. Ito, Daddy, yellow, parang halo-halo. I got a glass and put a scoop the ice, and then I poured cream of corn with milk and sugar. And you know what? In the afternoon, I couldn't talk. My throat was inflamed. So he brought me to the doctor and said, that is dirty, I don't harbor hatred. I don't have enemies. If I hear something wrong, just laugh it out. I was successful as a teacher, The principal even gave me a notice that she's the best teacher we had.
We first arrived in Canada in 1968, April. My husband was offered a safety work, as a safety director in Giant Mines Yellowknife, because that was his work in the Philippines at the Benguet Consolidated, owned by the Americans, by the U.S. And then when they learned that I was also a teacher, they asked me what my specialization is. And my specialization was modern math. So they wanted right away to have modern math in Yellowknife Catholic School to be implemented. They hired me right away. And then I became a teacher from then on for 27 years in Yellowknife, yes. Canada, we didn't expect Canada to be really cold, But especially in Yellowknife, it was really colder. Houses, and houses were only 20,000, And so we were able to get a house for 30,000, which is a 4-bedroom house. That's how we started our life here in Edmonton as well. I have that ability to adjust myself with any condition, That's all that's important, very, very important. And ability also to be friendly.
I arrived here in 1968. I received 2 job acceptances from 2 hospitals. I came as a secretary. I had to help my parents. I was disappointed with Edmonton. I did not see lots of houses.
I came to Canada February 24, 1969 as a nurse. When I was coming here in Hong Kong itself, I was very, very sick. When I got to Edmonton, the ambulance was waiting for me and I was taken to Hollywood Nursing Home. I was hired to go to Viking, but then I was sick and that position was already taken. So I was taken to Murnam. It's east of Edmonton. So I worked there for 3 years in Murnam, and that was a Ukrainian community. And in Murnam, nobody speak English. It was 99% Ukrainian community. So how can, as a nurse, how can I give their medication? How can I speak to them? I took classes. I took the Ukrainian class. I sang in the choir. I was in the newspaper all over the place because they cannot believe that that Filipino that came to Murnam, I was the only Filipino there, speaks Ukrainian. He said, how can that girl sing? That's a tiny one and that voice that coming from her. But that was a very good experience. After 1974, I moved to Edmonton. And then I worked at the Misericordia for 1 year. And then I transferred to the ALEC 1977 until I retired in 2007. The reason was actually my parents didn't really allow me to go, but all my classmates, when you were young, so we're taking some in Germany, some in the States, and I was the only one actually here that came to Canada. And there's always a newspaper. I apply myself, and it was so easy at the time. So when I apply it, and then they respond to my letter with the contract already. That's how I came, and then I landed as an immigrant right away. When I came to Canada, there is no rice, there is no Filipino food. When I was in Murnam, I live in the residence. And Nancy said to me, are you going to mail your letter to your parents? I said, yeah. She's going to show me where the post office is. But you know what happened? I said, let's go. And I said, oh, where can we call a taxi? And he said to me, my child, you have lots to learn. There's no such things. We have to walk. I said, I'm going to die because it was February and the snow was higher than me. People love me there because I think you really have to adjust yourself. You have to really go with the flow. You have to be friendly and you have to try, and you cannot be in this world without friends.
I was a medical student when I left the country in 1968. It has been my dream to go overseas. And while I was studying, my mind is focused to how I can leave the country and work abroad. I applied to Canada and I applied to the United States too. I decided whichever comes first, that's where I'm going. 6 months, I got the acceptance from the hospital and I was hired as a pediatric nurse. So in 1968, I came to Canada and worked in Fort Smith, Northwest Territory. I was the only Filipino in Fort Smith when I came. At the time, it was really easy. I didn't have any difficulty because I'm determined to live here. I know Canada has given us a lot because we have a family here. Right now, we're probably over 100. I have no regrets.
That was in the late 1967, and that was the start of instability. At that time, we were all young, what you would call activist students, being too ambitious politically without knowing the results and whatever will be the outcome of everything. My classmates from grade 1 all the way to high school decided to leave the Philippines. And we said, let's apply every part of the world so at least we will be able to really come back to the Philippines and help our own families and the community and so on. So 1967, we just said, okay. I applied in 3 different countries, United States, England, and Canada. The first one to accept me was Canada. In 2 weeks, United States said, you are most welcome. And after 3 weeks, England said, you're most welcome, but I've already said yes to Canada. And no regrets, because this is a beautiful country. Because we were the young generation at that time. But there was not any support whatsoever in order to be able to really continue on. Plus, of course, you're endangering your life. So that's the reason why. That's the first reason. The second one is economic reason. Port of entry is Vancouver. And we never expected it to be so beautiful. And they said, you can go to Edmonton if you want by train. But at that time, they said it will take 3 days. I was already a teacher at that time. And if you are already a professional and have your career and you finish your degree, you can, if you were a teacher, you'd be able to get what they would call a letter of authority, meaning you can teach a year, but with condition that while you're teaching, you have to go to the university. The first few days, few months, it was really a very lonely time to be in Edmonton. Here is again the funny part, not knowing where to go. They said, all right, from the airport, I said, where is a place to stay? And they said, oh, the driver will take you to a nice place. And the driver took me to McDonald Hotel. I looked around and what am I going to do here? And it was already snowing, okay? I was wearing 3-inch high heel shoes and my mini skirt, of course, and no jacket whatsoever. So as soon as I got into the lobby, I saw a rack of coats. And of course, I started going beside the coat racket and I started trying them on. So then came the busboy and said, Mademoiselle, what are you doing? Those are customers' sweaters and jackets, whatever they are. So I said, oh, I'm sorry. I thought they were for sale. Those days, they really needed teachers. Back home, I have been already a youth leader. I think that's the reason why we were considered to be activists at that time. So when I was at the university, I looked around and I said, I hear so many of the international students not even speaking English well. So I said, I can help. I can teach you. There was no ESL at the time. There was no ESL. We started it. And so we said, all the international students come to our kitchen table and we will start working on it. How I got into Changing Together is the fact that while we were at the university, many of our classmates were coming together as women, and we said, why don't we start working and form maybe an association where we can all come together and start working in order to be able to have at least a group that can listen to us. So it started that way. I founded another organization called the International and Heritage Languages Association, because we said we have to keep our heritage language and culture. So these are the 2 or 3 big groups that I really am involved even to this very day. That's the Sarana organization, which is the Filipino group. Then we have Changing Together, Center for Immigrant Women, and the International and Heritage Languages Program. The Filipino language program was just, again, an ordinary way of teaching our young ones who were with us at that time to be able to talk to their lolos and lolas back home.
try to ignore this for a long time while lining up for all sorts of papers demanded of you, while submitting yet another form, paying yet another fee. You try to brush it off. In rushing from appointment to appointment, enduring the heat, hunger pangs, and fatigue, you try not to think, but you know very well that soon you will leave your child. So you prepare and harden your heart. Wrap your heart with resolve and determination. Put up shields against doubts. Seal off any hesitation. Squash fear. Lock your heart with a sense of duty and loyalty to family. Believe that separation will bring salvation.
I came to Canada, particularly in Fort McMurray, under the Live-In Caregiver program.
Before I came to Canada, I used to be an overseas worker in Japan. I first came here in Canada 2010.
I came to Canada about 5 years after my mom came to Canada as a caregiver, and so she left when I was about 5.
In secret, pack your luggage. Every shirt you fold, every towel you roll, each item you sneak into your bag is a turning away from your home, from your children, from a life that will never be the same. Pack quietly, but quickly, before you start thinking, before you start crying. Tears are messy. Avoid tears. Now, plan well. How to tell your child. Practice your smile. Find the perfect tone. Choose the words carefully to say, "You are going away." Do not look into their eyes, for you might cry, they might cry. Remember, tears are messy. Avoid tears.
Settling in Canada was harder than I can imagine.
You have to think kasi yung buhay ng mga bata, siguro sa aming as a parent, binibigyan namin sila ng greater opportunity. It took me 5 years for them to be with me here in Canada. It was a long struggle, long battle, long adjustment, ups and downs. I have to make these sacrifices, the ultimate sacrifice, to give my children and my family a better life.
It was not an easy decision because you're leaving your most important, the most important people in your lives.
What I remember most actually is my dad trying to raise us by himself, and he learned how to do my hair. Those were some critical years. I know my mom definitely tried. We called a lot. My dad didn't have a lot of experience taking on that mother role, and it wasn't lonely. I would just say I really miss my mom. You really miss having that female figure.
You need to create a distraction. Buy a new toy, or what about a new TV? Probably best to throw a party. Cover the deception with merriment and gaiety. Use up the last of your money for a big celebration, for the grand announcement. You've made it. You're going away to join thousands of others forced to migrate to work. You've made it. This is success? To your guileless child, you will say, Anak, I have to go, but it's all for good. It's going to be worth it. I will be back soon, as often as I can. Rehearse, so you don't falter. Anak, I do this for love, to be somewhere else is the best way to show my love right now. It will be all right. I will be back soon.
And then yung faith, kasi yung moral support ng family iniwan ko, especially my wife, yun lang nagbibigay sa akin palagi ng motivation, the strength, and then overcome lahat yung pagiging homesickness ko. So when it comes to adjustment here in Canada, well, we jokingly say that kaya nga namin yung ginawa yung English. Di ba? Well, nag-adjust din sila, pero the mere fact na magkakasama kami, it's already a blessing.
Looking back, I know it was the most painful decision. I think the most painful journey that I could ever have.
Yeah.
They're brave. Actually, they're brave to go through all of that.
My mom too. She was really brave. Not only did I realize that life was hard in the Philippines, but life can also be hard here in Canada. The caregiver program left a lot of caregivers in vulnerable positions.
Canada is a beautiful country. I continue to learn new things, confront new challenges, and enjoy new experiences. Along with that, it inspired me to write my journey and gave it the title Domestically Yours, A Caregiver's Inspiring Journey. My immigration story has something in common with countless others: heartbreaks and hardship. With overcoming adversities, I can prove that we Filipinos are resilient and efficient.
I'll say it again and again. Practice the smile, find the perfect tone, hold back the tears, breathe. I love you, anak, but I have to leave you. It will be all right. It's the best thing right now. I will be back soon. Repeat and repeat until you sound convincing, until you start believing this yourself.
Gigugma, taka anak, pero kinahanglang taka biyaan.
Anak, kaluguranda ka, pero kailangan kong mako para kaya kayo.
Langga, I love you. Ayaw ka bala ka. Magkita man ta sa Disyembre pohon.
Gusto mo bang mga ibang bayan? Ang pagkakataon dooy kumikinang. Ang kita mo'y sapat sa iyong pangangailangan. Sino ba naman ang ayaw ng ganyan?
Mag-aalaga ka ng di mo kalahi, sa bahay ng di mo kaano-ano, kahit ang turing sa iyo'y mababang uri. Sabi nila, iyan ang kapalaran mo.
At alang-alang sa mga mahal mo sa buhay, magtitiis na lumayo ang mahiwalay nang makaranas ng kahit konting ginhawa, kahit ang kapalit minsay pagdurusa.
Gusto mo bang mga ibang bayan? Kung meron kang magagawa, kung halimbawang ang mithiing kasaganaan, mararanasan sa sarili mong bansa.
Gusto mo bang mga ibang bayan? Ang pagkakataon dooy kumikinang. Ang kita mo'y sapat sa iyong pangangailangan. Sino ba naman ang ayaw ng ganyan? Mag-aalaga ka ng mga di mo kalahi, sa bahay ng di mo kaano-ano. Kahit ang turing sa iyo'y mababang uri, sabi nila, yan ang kapalaran mo. At alang-alang sa mga mahal sa buhay, magtitiis na lumayo't mahiwalay, nang makaranas ng kahit konting ginhawa, kahit ang kapalit minsay pagdurusa. Gusto mo bang mga ibang bayan? Kung mayroon kang magagawa, kung halimbawang ang mithiing kasaganahan mararanasan sa sarili mong bansa. Kung nandoon ka sa ibang bayan, huwag kalimutan ang pananggalingan mo. Isang bansang mayroong huwad na kalayaan, kaya marami ang mga katulad mo. Buhay ay di dapat palaging ganito.
Ako po ay si Connie Munana. Dumating po ako galing Pilipinas noong 2011 at nag-work po ako dito as temporary worker. Sa ngayon po ako ay isang caregiver.
Ako po si Len, dumating sa Canada noong Abril 2018 bilang isang international student at sa ngayon ay nagtatrabaho bilang isang bookkeeper sa isang accounting firm.
Ako si Danilo De Leon, dumating dito sa Canada noong February 2009 bilang isang TFW at ngayon ay isa pa ring TFW.
Ako si Ilora Katakutan. Dumating ako sa Canada noong November 3, 2015 at isa akong caregiver.
Ako si Lynn, isang TFW, single mother at masipag na manggagawa. Nanganak ako sa isang magandang batang babae noong panahon na wala akong status. Dito pala sa Alberta noon ay walang karapatan ang Canadian-born child kung walang status ang nanay. Ang aking anak ay Canadian, gaya ng sino mang Canadian. Kailangan pa itong ipaglaban ng aking organisasyon, ang migrante, para lamang mabigyan ng karapatan ang mga batang Canadian na anak ng undocumented migrants. Nagtagumpay ang aming kampanya at marami ng mga bata ang nakikinabang nito. Walang magbabago kung hindi tayo kukilos. Tuloy ang buhay, tuloy ang laban.
Gusto mo bang ibang bayan? Ang pagkakataon do'y kumikinang. Ang kita mo'y sapat sa iyong pangangailangan. Sino ba naman ang ayaw ng ganyan? Mag-aalaga ka ng mga di mo kalahi sa bahay ng di mo kaano-ano. Kahit ang turing sa iyo'y mababang uri, sabi nila yan ang kapalaran mo. At alang-alang sa mga mahal sa buhay, magtitiis na lumayo at mahiwalay, nang makaranas ng kahit konting ginhawa, kahit ang kapalit minsa'y pagdurusa. Gusto mo bang mag-ibang bayan? Kung mayroon kang magagawa, kung halimbawa ang miting ka sa ganahan, mararanasan sa sarili mong bansa. Kung nandun ka sa ibang bayan, huwag kalimutan ang pinanggalingan mo. Isang bansang mayroong huwad na kalayaan, kaya marami ang mga katulad mo. At alang-alang sa mga mahal sa buhay, magtitiis na lumayo at mahiwalay, nang magaranas ng kahit konting ginhawa, kahit ang kapalit minsa'y pagdurusa. Kung nandun ka sa ibang bayan, huwag kalimutan ang pinanggalingan mo. Isang bansang mayroong huwad na kalayaan, kaya marami ang mga katulad mo. Buhay ay di dapat palaging ganito. Buhay ay di dapat palaging ganito. Buhay ay di dapat palaging ganito.
I came in Canada in November 2011 as a temporary foreign worker. Gaya ng mga ibang Pilipino din, gusto natin makatulong sa family, and especially that time po yung nanay ko nagda-dialysis. Before, nag-work po ako sa Dubai, and then nag-work din po ako sa cruise ship. Yung nakita ko dito sa Canada na parang it will change your life and your family, na dito at least pwede mong makasama yung family mo, pwede mong dalhin yung parents mo. Pinaka first experience ko nung pagbaba namin dito, and then papunta pa lang ng ng car. Nalaglag na yung swelas ng sapatos ko kasi parang siguro dry na dry yung sapatos, and then paglakas, sabi ko, ba't andulas? Yung pala wala lang yung swelas ng sapatos ko. It was June 2, 2012. That time was crossing sa pedestrian lane po nung nahit ako ng car. Pag hit sa akin ng car, na nag-roll pa ako sa windshield bago ako bumagsak sa karsada. And then that time na wala na ako agad na feel na parang na yung face ko nasa baba, na hindi ko na maihawon yung pa ko. Akala ko after na parang na-shock lang ako, and then nadidinig ko lang yung mga tao nagsisigawan, and then parang tinatanong nila yung driver kung lasing daw ba or what. Tapos that time, ang una pang nasa isip ko, kasi syempre temporary foreign worker and then malilate ka sa work, ang una ko pang nasabi is if can someone na mag-inform na, kasi across the street lang po andun na sana ako na malilate ako. Tumawag na sila ng ambulance. Time nagising ako, nasa ICU na po ko. Nasa ICU ako for almost 4 weeks po. Paano nabubuhay yung taong ganito? Parang, paano walang control? Anything. Yun yung isa sa nakakatakot na feeling, na parang feeling ko nasa casket ka, na nakahiga ka, parang gusto mong sumigaw, gusto mong magwala, gusto mong gumalaw, tumayo, hindi mo magawa Parang ang explain niya sa akin is, you will gonna be like a dead vegetable for the rest of your life. Gumuho na yung mundo ko, na parang paano na yung mangyayari, na that time I'm the one who was supposed to take care of dun sa parents ko, and then yung responsibility, and then sa sarili ko. Grace of God na yung mga tumutulong sa akin, yung mga tao na hindi ko rin kakilala, pumupunta doon para i-encourage ako. Tapos unti-unti na parang nandun yung hope. Mahirap din in a way na yung nanay ko po, hindi niya alam, hindi namin masabi sa kanya. Hindi ko masabi sa kanya yung nangyari sa akin. Parang nag-decide kami na wag nang sabihin yung kailangan kong gumaling, kasi para makauwi ako, makita ko yung nanay ko na makasama ko siya. And then nung nag-start din po ako na after ng injury, parang ako din nagkakaroon na ng start ng new normal ng buhay ko. Although yung parang yung mga bagay na nagagawa ko dati ng 5 minutes lang, ngayon it takes 1 hour. And then parang ang hirap kasi nung namatay siya, it was December 25 na Christmas pa siya, sakto namatay, December 25 ng 2015. And then that time, nasa middle ako ng deportation. Pero that time, nung nalaman na yung sitwasyon ko, naging aware yung mga tao. That's the time na parang nakatulong pa po sa case ko. But that time, parang iyon din yung every time na may sinasabi sila na hindi ko kayang gawin, mas parang na-challenge ako na i-prove na kaya ko siya. Then kahit na first time na nung nahulog ako, nag-try ako na lumipat sa wheelchair. It took 2 hours para lang makalipat ako. Ang baba-baba lang ng chair, pero now I can do it in 5 minutes. So, parang lahat, may mga new research, sige lang, itry ko kasi parang yun lang yung kaya kong gawin, why not? Tapos, I learned so much na parang sabi ko na may mga talent pala ako na hindi ko alam. Parang kung kailan nandito ka sa sitwasyon na parang tingin ng ibang tao na wala ka nang kayang gawin, parang doon pa yung time na mas na-discover ko na kaya ko palang mag-painting, kaya ko palang maglaro ng sports, kaya ko palang mag-swimming. Parang considering na paralyzed ako from chest down, up to now, they consider that kasi yung pakiramdam ko from chest down, wala pa rin. And then yung hand function ko is different. Pero parang talagang minsan na-amaze din ako na kung paano ko nagagawa lahat. Ngayon nakakapagluto na ako para sa sarili ko. I can take care of myself, na parang yun yung purpose ni Lord. Nakatulong not in financially but then in support, na parang just to share your story. And then nagbo-volunteer po ako sa mga iba sa University of Alberta, sa Glenrose Rehabilitation Center. And then naging part din po ako ng board ng spinal cord injury treatment. Sa dami lahat ng blessings na dumating sa buhay ko, parang sana one day makapag-give back din ako sa mga tao. Ayun po. I learned more na parang not to lose faith, not to lose hope, and then not to give up. Parang continuous lang. Kahit na mahirap, sige pa rin. Parang ganyan naman mga Pilipino. Parang sige lang.
Papa was best known for the many, many years that he was a very successful, a very prominent lawyer in Manila. And he had a successful practice. He had Atienza, Tabora, Del Rosario, and Castillo was his law office in Ermita. And my papa's family was in politics at that time. So it was a very, very strong family affiliation with the opposition party, with the Liberal Party. And I think Papa then felt that it wasn't safe for us to remain there. Papa decided, sabi niya, what am I doing here in the Philippines? All of you are in Canada. That was 1980. So mga 8 years na into martial law. He decided to give up his practice and come and join us in Edmonton. So initially, of course, he couldn't practice, and he started working as, I guess a legal assistant in a law office. But Papa's very humble, even though he knew who he was, what he was in Manila. If this is what it takes to start a new life in Edmonton, I'll do it. Papa was always a very, very kind, very genuine kind of person. So he made friends easily. No, he gave up a lot in coming here and starting. He had to go back to school. He had to attend at U of A. And he challenged the bar exams and came out with flying colors. And so when he was admitted to the Alberta bar, there had been other Philippine lawyers who were here before him. But because they were younger, they had families to support, and maybe didn't have the time or the inclination to go back to law school. So they weren't practicing law. So in that sense, Papa was the first one to be admitted to the Alberta bar. And he encouraged these younger lawyers. Sabi niya, if at 63 I could do it, so can you, tutulungan ko kayo. Unfortunately, when it was only about a year and a half after he was admitted to the bar and had started working as a lawyer, he got diagnosed with lung cancer. And so it was, the legal career was short-lived. But in that time, he was able to inspire a lot of Filipinos. And Papa naman was the kind of person who he would make the best of everything. So having given up his big home, his lucrative practice, his lifestyle, his friends, family, and coming to Edmonton, here I made a decision to come. I'll make the best of it. I'll be happy. Masaya siya doing things like that, as long as he was with the family. When Ninoy Aquino was assassinated, that really hurt Papa, because Papa was one of the people that Ninoy had called to ask for advice as to whether he should go back to the Philippines or not. Papa said, yes, you should go back. So when he was assassinated, I remember that. Sabi niya, pinatay si Ninoy. And he said, I regret having said yes. Siguro dapat sinabi ko wag. And then when EDSA 1 happened and he booked his flight, fortunately, his cancer was in remission at that time. He spent, I think he was home for maybe a couple of months, and then he could sense that the cancer had returned. So he came back. He used his brilliance and he used his resources to help people.
I met the late Dr. Remedios Bermeo during the annual gala night of the Filipino Nurses Association in Alberta in 1989. My friend and I admired how well she danced tango, so we approached her and asked her if she can teach us. And during those years, I was already leading a group of around 10 families, having Christmas parties, picnics, family tournaments, and other activities. And I always choreograph a short program with 1 or 2 folk dances. So when talking to Dr. Bermeo, she asked me to bring my group of families to Baturin Elementary School in Londonderry, where she said she can teach us. So I did. That's when I learned that there is a Filipino folk dance group named Carilagan Dance Society that has been performing in the community since 1971. I never heard of it. So instead of learning tango, we ended up learning more Filipino folk dances. And I also learned that the year before, at the annual show of the Carilagan, Dr. Bermeo announced the end of the group because of her illness. And here I came with my own group with enough members, dancers, both children and parents. And in a few months' time of learning and rehearsing under her supervision, we had our first show reviving Carilagan. That was in 1990. And the rest is history.
I would describe him as a very, very devoted father. His music was really his priority because it put food on the table for us. On his own time, he was a musical composer. He was a musical arranger. He was the musician that people, well, basically in our city, really knew and really adored and really respected.
Si Daddy, when he was taught how to read music, it was very rigid. After high school, he enrolled in University of San Carlos. He was a band master there as the musical director. He was very popular back then because he was only in his early 20s. He was like a celebrity back then in the music world.
Because of that range that he could do, that people in Cebu and later on in Canada and in places like New Jersey fondly started to call him Maestro. That's how he was known in the Philippines, as Maestro Mel.
It was very hard for Daddy, when they moved to Canada, being in Canada away from Cebu.
So it was a big adjustment for both of them, and especially for my dad. Mom was babysitting, Daddy was dishwashing. That was basically the life they had, and of course, church. That's where Artie Atienza comes in. Do you think we can work with you? My dad said, sure, I'll play for you. I will compose for you. I will perform with you. I will arrange for you. He said all that, Artie said. His involvement, and eventually my mom's, of course, added a whole lot of color and purpose to being in Edmonton.
He wrote the most beautiful and sentimental love songs you could ever imagine.
Music was his life.
Sa paglisan sa'yo'y pag-ibig. Kung ang buhay ay isang umagang nakangiti.
Well, Wilf is very active in everything. He has a really kind heart. Like he always give to everybody who needs, and that's why he became popular among different organizations. When they need donation, they come to us.
Di mo masilip, ito'y nandirito pa rin.
Essie is very active in Edmonton as a whole community, not only in the Filipino community. She is the founder of the Philippine Nursing Association. She's responsible for all those nurses that came to Edmonton, the influx of nurses from Edmonton, from the Philippines.
Ay pag-ibig. Sa pagpuros ng ulan, sa haplos ng hangin, alaala mo ay nakahukit sa pisngi ng langit. Ang hangin, di man lihim, ika'y nandito pa rin. Kung ang lahat ay may katapusan, itong paglalakbay ay makakarating din sa karoroonan. At sa iyong paglisan, ang tanging pangahon ko ay pag-ibig. Buhay ay isang magandang kaunti, tawag lupang sinusuyo ng bibig. Sa pagbuhos ng ulan at haplos ng hangin, alaala mo yung sa pisngi ng langit. Buhay ay isang magandang kaunti, tawag lupang sinusuyo ng bibig. Sa pagbuhos ng ulan at haplos ng hangin, alaala mo yung sa pisngi ng langit. Kung ang buhay ay isang umagang nagkamiti, ikaw ang lupang sinusuyo ng bibig. Sa pagbuhos ng ulan at haplos ng hangin, alaala mo yung sa pisngi ng langit.
I came in December 1994 from the Philippines. We arrived in the middle of winter of 1994. We were very isolated. I was a practicing urban planner with a master's degree. I came to Canada full of hope. It was a big challenge finding work in Canada. Getting an urban planning licensure, you need 2 years experience in a planning field. Chicken and egg. I had to fast track my career. I attended a settlement orientation program and they advised me to volunteer to become familiar with the Canadian workplace and build networks. For a whole year, I volunteered for 3 different organizations, but I never got an offer. So what was wrong with me? So I downgraded my qualifications on my resume, leaving out my master's degree. I applied at Superstore, IGA, all the retail stores, but I still got no offers. I didn't tell my family back home that I wasn't working. I felt so ashamed. I lost my confidence. I thought I didn't have any value anymore. And that's how I got the idea to go back to school. In 1997, I tried applying for a doctoral program at the U of A and got accepted. The networks I built in school led to job offers. Education was the game changer for me. I don't know how I survived it, but I did. This is what I can say about Canada too. If you can get into something that provides opportunities, you can make it. If you meet the right people in the right places, you can lift yourself.
So the openness, the sincerity, and I think the trust and respect, the dignity that you give as you really give your service to people, I think is the one that really counts a lot. And knowing that you really have to keep the 3 things: commitment, respect, and responsibility. So don't think that you can do it on your own. There has to be a guidance of a higher power. And to me, of course, it's our Heavenly Father.
I do it to carry on what he wanted me to do. And that it's in the spirit of giving back to a country that has been very, very good to us. Siguro that calling, to continue with the legacy of our family and doing it in a different country, obviously. For politicians to know us the way we are. And I really always think we're great people.
Why did I decide to revive Karilagan? I love to see Filipino-Canadian children learn and showcase the Filipino folk dances. That is my legacy. To continuously promote it, I am proud that I was able to instill in the minds of these Filipino-Canadians the love of our culture and traditions through folk dances and songs.
As a community also, then, recognizing that we're good, we all have to pull together and help one another.
What I really would want to see at this point is the new generation would at least continue on with the idea that we are now part of Canada. In order to be able to become part of the mainstream, we really have to accept the fact that we have to keep the values and traditions as we mingle, as we transform, as we bring in ourselves in order to make ourselves what they would call citizens that are also going to be contributing to the betterment of the country of Canada. Yes, and that's why we need the young generation to really come together.
Half the world is sleeping, half the world's awake, half can hear their hearts beat, half just hear them break. I am but a traveler.
What my parents told me is that they'll never abandon their country and that they're still a proud Filipino.
I love Filipino food. Like, Filipino food is like what I eat all day, every day. Sinigang is my favorite food.
If you look at my Instagram profile, I have a very small line that says I'm a true Canadian, but I'm a proud Filipino. And that's interchangeable because I think that, you know, a lot of the people my generation who were first born here in Canada struggle with that all the time.
Even if I was born and raised here, I am still Filipino because my parents are Filipino. I do enjoy Filipino food. I will never abandon lumpia or ube ice cream.
I won't let the darkness in. What a journey it has been.
Hi, my name is April Dela Paz de la Cruz, and I'm from the Heart of Yank Filipino community, HOY for short. We wanted to figure out how we could share these blessings to people in the Philippines and where they were from. Our senior officials continue to be a part of our organization as mentors, and we're eternally grateful to them for instilling the values that have motivated us to continue the nonprofit work that they've started so many years ago. Our mission is to nurture people who are in need in Edmonton and the Philippines through the spirit of the Filipino community and Edmontonians alike. One of the main reasons that we continue to do this is to inspire the next generation, the youth, to be the change that they want to see in this world.
For me, as a parent, I think the little things that you do at home and the little things that you involve your kids in the community is going to go a long way to set the course and set the wheels keep on turning because of that. So that's my wish.
I definitely think knowing your heritage and where you come from is important, and knowing that I'm a Filipino, I know that it is the basis of lots of things that I believe and what I do. Like, it guides lots of the things that I do and how I do it in terms of like mentality of like hard work.
Rather than focusing on how Filipino someone is, we should really celebrate that they are Filipino. And we should also celebrate that the actions they take to preserve and promote our culture. That way, our culture can live on and on through generations.
Now looking back on my life in Canada, I realized that I built a lot of my values based on the people around me, where I realized what I wanted to leave behind, what I wanted to take on in the Canadian culture. I had to think about what kind of palate did I have? Do I want to keep eating rice for the rest of my life in my meals, or do I want to take on this like bread and butter culture?
What a journey it has been, and the end is not in sight, but the stars are out tonight, and they're bound to guide my way. When they're shining on my life, I can see a better day. I won't let the darkness in. What a journey it has.
I just think it's important to know where you come from and not letting go of that, especially when you move to another country like Canada, where it's easy to assimilate into, I guess, the other cultures, but it's so important to stay true to who you are and not letting that, not letting everyone else around you kind of change your background and try to be like everyone else.
Growing up, but being Filipino is at the heart and soul of everything that I do.
We need the young generation to really come together. And that's one of the things we always say, let them not forget their roots.
Filipino heritage is pretty much essential to who I am because it helped shape my preferences, helped shape my values, and even shaped how I interact with other people. So at the end of the day, you can say that heritage shapes you, but you can shape heritage by the way you choose to express it. Like I said earlier, there's no one way to be Filipino.
Stars are out tonight, and they're bound to guide my way. When they're shining on my life, I can see a better day. I won't let the darkness in. What a journey it has been. Forward, always forward. Onward, always up. Catching every drop of hope in my empty cup. What a journey it has been. In the end is not in sight, but the stars are out tonight, and they're bound to guide my way. When they're shining on my life, I can see a better day. I won't let the darkness in. What a journey it has been. What a journey it has
I am in an interracial relationship, and my husband's heritage is, the simplest way to describe it is he's white. But if you break it down, he's half Polish and half Western European. So, British, Scottish, Irish, that kind of thing. It's interesting to see how my culture plays into our relationship, because it's important to communicate to him on a regular basis the foundations of my personality and my quirks and my character. One funny and simple example actually is the toilet. We have that. I want a tabo, and we have one in our. We have a tabo in our bathroom. And the nice thing about our relationship, given that we're from two different backgrounds, is that we are given the opportunity to evolve and challenge our respective upbringings. Another thing that he started to embrace and appreciate with the Filipino culture he saw this a lot with my father's side when we visited in Manila. There is a way to have a healthy and tight-knit family relationship. That dynamic works, and how much that relationship with family members is really important to support each other in times of need, because we don't have the same healthcare system back home. You know, that people have to pitch in money for funerals, and people have to pitch in money for when a house breaks down or when someone has to be hospitalized, because of the realities of the culture and the socioeconomic and political realities of the Philippines. So it's a really educational opportunity both for him and me, and it helped him and me appreciate our blessings. Upbringing and Philippine heritage plays a role. It's just understanding who I was, and then in terms of shaping who I am and who I want to be in the future, it's a dynamic process between him and me. It's even funnier when my husband was like, "Oh, anong ulam?"
My husband is, his name's Arif, and we met here, obviously, in Edmonton when we were just about 22 or 23 years old. So he grew up on the north side. He is of two cultures himself. So he's actually, his parents are both from the West Indies, one being Trinidadian, his father is from Trinidad and Tobago, and my mother-in-law is from Guyana. So they're still very much the people who want to make sure that their culture is instilled in our children. And my parents want to make sure that our culture is instilled in our children as well. So towing the balance, or towing the line, if you will, between those two cultures is the only challenge. But at the end of the day, obviously it's the island culture. So everyone is, pretty kosher with one another. It's just a matter of maybe creating a balance between the two to make sure that both of them are balanced within our children going forward. It's such an identity crisis, I think, for children to begin with, or teenagers to begin with, to try and find their way in the world. Bringing them up in a culture that has two cultures to begin with is the challenge, and then having them be Canadian on top of that is even more so challenging. So what we try to do is just make sure that, that they are who they are, trifold, like whoever they are at any given point in time. There's no right or wrong of being who you are at any point, right?
Filipino heritage ingrains into you to respect your elders, especially with the mano po gesture, where you put the elder's hand towards your forehead. Another example is being generous with food. So when you go to Filipino parties, the host always tries to get the guests to take home food. Heritage can also be a form of self-expression. So for myself, I like to cook. So whenever a friend invites me to their birthday party, for example, I cook some Filipino food for them to try. And also when I was younger, I did a lot of karaoke.
From my own experience, Filipino hospitality is second to none. Filipinos are very family oriented, which I enjoy as a Caucasian person, so I wasn't used to that growing up. Filipinos enjoy food, family time. My favorite all time is sisig and a chicken adobo. And Filipinos are mostly Catholic and they go to church every week, which I really like that too, right? Filipino festivals are many every year, probably 3 or 4 major ones, which I attend all with my wife. My wife loves to go to festivals, and I always attend the festivals with her, which I enjoy.
For us, is to just try to explore what Filipino heritage is, and try not to be afraid to experiment. You can mix and match different aspects of Filipino culture into something new. And we should be open to that and say, hey, maybe that's not a bad idea, So yeah, let's see where it takes us.
Ngayon mundo'y gulong-gulo at lahat tayong litong-lito. Pag-ibig sa kapwa-tao, sa daigdig dapat ituro. Kung bawat puso ay marunong magmahal, kapayapa at kasiyahan tiyak na makakamtan.
Lahat tayo'y pantay-pantay sa biyayan ng may kapal. Lahat sana'y akbay-akbay, handang tumulong kaniluhan. Bawat tao ay marunong magmahal, ano mabuhay turuan natin, tanging lunas ang pag-ibig.
Oh, just down, te amo, I love you. Watashi wa anato ashiman. Ilibigin kita kumain. Paano bang sabihin? Ano to'y turuan natin? Ang tanging lunas ang pag-ibig.
Te amo, I love you. Watashi wa anato aishimasu. Desha liberty, hinibig kita maigi. Paano man sabihin, ang mundo'y turuan natin.